In one of the most iconic scenes in all of theater, Juliet leans upon the railing of her balcony and asks, "What's in a name? That which we call a rose by any other name would smell as sweet." Of course, Juliet is referring to Romeo, the young man she just met and kissed at her family's party. To Juliet, Romeo seems perfect, but his name, i.e. that he's a Montague and the son of her family's hated enemy, makes their love star-crossed, fated to fail. But isn't Juliet's botanical assessment correct? You can call this a rose, a daisy, or a pile of poo-poo. No matter what you call it, it still smells like a rose. Well, that might be true in reality, but this is poetry. And in poetry, names are everything. Almost all of Romeo and Juliet reads an exquisite iambic pentameter, but soft, what light through yon, der win, do breaks. But when Juliet asks, "O Romeo, Romeo, wherefore art thou Romeo?" which means, "Why are you called Romeo?" the meter falls apart. "O Romeo, Ro-me-o, wherefore art thou Romeo?" Romeo's name doesn't fit the meter. His name is powerful, it's indicative of the city of Rome itself, but it is the problem in all of this, and Shakespeare writes that problem into the play at the syllabic level. Juliet's name can be interpreted as the daughter of Jupiter, the Roman version of Zeus. This highlights her father's, Capulet's, unwavering dominion over his household. It also establishes a connection to youth, beauty, and most importantly, the sky. The imagery around Juliet is almost always skyward. She's up on a balcony, she talks about Romeo being cut into little stars, she uses birds to make her point in the reverse balcony scene, and she tells Romeo not to swear about love like lightning. And Romeo calls her the sun, which now that he has Cupid's wings to fly toward, offers up an Icarian warning about their love. Mercutio often reminds us that Tybalt shares a name with the Prince of Cats. This is a character from the medieval folklore about Reynard the Fox. This feline character shares Tybalt's anger and violent disposition. And speaking of Mercutio, his name relates to Mercury, the Roman version of Hermes. This, of course, is a god who is known for trickery, speed, and a free-flowing, often suddenly changing mindset. A close look at Mercutio's Queen Mab's speech shows his mercurial wit on full display. Benvolio builds off the Latin root for good or well. Think benevolent, benediction, benefits. Likewise, Benvolio tries to do good in this play. His first action on stage is to try to stop a fight. He attempts to help Romeo with his Rosalind heartache. He tries to get Mercutio to go inside before they run into some hot-headed Capulets. Really, if people listened more to Benvolio, they would have probably had a much happier ending when the curtain closed. Prince Aeschylus's name is a homophone for the ancient Greek playwright Aeschylus, who is one of the fathers of tragedy. Much of the tragedy of this play results from Aeschylus's rulings about fighting in the streets of Verona. And finally, Paris shares a name with the famous Trojan prince from Greek mythology. In the Iliad, Paris is the one who Helen runs off back to Troy with. Since Helen is already married to the king of Sparta, Menelaus, her affair with Paris launches 1,000 Greek ships and starts a 10-year-long Trojan War. Basically, Paris is a name synonymous with a love life that causes trouble, so it makes sense that the character whose affections for Juliet complicates everything is named Paris. Now, it's important to note that Shakespeare didn't pick all of these names. Some of them are part of his source material, but he certainly uses the implication behind these names as inspiration for how he writes his characters. Because, as any great writer will tell you, when it comes to characters, what's in a name is an opportunity for symbolism, for imagery, and for just being really fun and clever. I hope you found that video interesting. If you'd like to check out more videos about Shakespeare, look down below. and happy reading.